It was beautiful.
Very elusive.
That was the best game I've seen a quarterback play in a while.
Really?
Yeah.
So
what game have you seen better? I mean, Geno Smith, you have guys like that.
Are you talking about this season?
Yeah, just overall the way Teddy played. Call us, 384-1450. Tell me, who's played a better overall game than Teddy Bridgewater? He only threw 2 touchdowns. At the beginning, the 2 running backs got a couple touchdowns in the second quarter. But Teddy was the guy moving the chains. He was 21
Teddy
to
definitely
25.
led you all to this victory.
He was running the ball when he needed to. I mean, you can't ask for much more from your quarterback.
Oh, no. Teddy won this game for you. The defense did pretty well. And there's a few debacles in the secondary at times, and maybe the run. The little back for South Florida was. It seemed like he'd get hit. Then you get 3 or 4 more every time. I mean, he was a very small but very powerful back. I was very impressed with him. But B.J. Daniels, the hype of B.J. Daniels, I was not impressed. I know he's you can't be a Superman every game. You can't do this every game. Look at Geno Smith. I mean, 2 losses in a row after coming off 500 plus passing yards. But he just did not impress me. I don't know. You watched this game on TV.
I did, yeah.
What was the the commentators? I always like to know what they are saying about this game, about maybe Louisville, not the game.
Very complimentary of obviously Teddy Bridgewater.
Terry Bridgewater, as ESPN calls him.
They did call him Terry on ESPN. But they were talking up the defense at certain times. Obviously, the crowd really got
very loud there.
A lot of recognition for, especially on that huge goal line stand. I mean, nothing energizes a team, and hopefully going forward, that goal line stand maybe will look back and say that kind of got the defense going. There was some flashes of brilliance. I like the young guy. What's his name? A defensive back from the same high school as Teddy Bridgewater. I'll find it here. But he had a couple big plays. Obviously, Lorenzo Malden. Man, that guy looks like I'm not going to say he's a Julius Peppers because he's not. But he is an NFL. He
goes to class at least.
He doesn't. Our man Jacob Kuiper would happily tell you all about how Julius doesn't go to class. And Lorenzo Malden, man, he is a coming off the edge. He's going to play on Sundays.
Oh yeah, he's a very talented back. If I'm correct, he forced forced a fumble. If that was him, he stole the ball from the quarterback.
He was credited with a sack, a forced fumble, and a recovered fumble in a very decisive moment to end the first half. B.J. Daniels was driving. They could have, at least got a field goal. They could have scored a touchdown. And nope, Lorenzo Malden off the edge comes in, strips the quarterback, says, I'll take that, my ball. Great play. And that was his second sack of the game. So, I mean, very impressive showing at certain points by the defense. Overall, the defense still has a lot of room to improve. I mean, it's not the best defense out there.
They almost allowed 200 yards rushing, 197 for South Florida. It was pretty spread out. I mean, 189 passing, 197 rushing. Total yards for South Florida, 386 versus Louisville, 384. Very, very even game.
Wow.
Obviously, Louisville dominated the first half, and South Florida mainly the second half. Having B.J. Daniels did throw 3 touchdown passes in that second half. Yeah, I know I said I didn't impress him. That's cool, but it wasn't the B.J. Daniels I was expecting throughout the full 4 quarters.
On paper, he had a good game. He had 21 to 38. 3 touchdowns, an interception, and he was sacked 4 times. Teddy did all of this and literally avoided being sacked. The only problem Teddy did all day, and I was very impressed with what he was doing before the line, kind of like maybe a Peyton Manning. He was directing things. He was doing a fake, cadence type deals. He got a little too elusive one time in the first half.
He is not Peyton Manning, though.
He's not Peyton Manning.
Or ever will be in Peyton Manning's
No, he's certainly
level.
not, but he does some different types of stuff. He's moving guys around. He's an intense dude. Teddy Bridgewater has it going on. The way he directs the offense is amazing. He's like an offensive coordinator out there on the field. He got called for trying to draw the other team off sides one time. That's the only problem he had. I think other than that, he may have overthrown Devontae one time.
Just a few overthrows, but other than that, he completed his first 11 passes.
Yeah.
That's a great start to the game. One thing I noticed being the not paying attention so much Louisville and USF wise, but you can't not pay attention. The referees, how awful were they?
There were some bad calls. I know that Adrian Bichelle.
They really hurt Louisville, and I'm coming from the Kentucky standpoint here. They really affected. South Florida should not have been in that fourth quarter as close. They shouldn't have.
One of the plays in particular, Adrian Bichelle played what I thought was about as good a defense as there can be out there, and the ref comes through and he says, pass interference on number 25 of the defense. What the hell? Adrian is number 21. Number 25, I don't even think was on the field. So, yeah, you're right. I hate
there were some bad
make
plays.
Some excuses or saying
I'm not saying I wasn't,
about the ref, but Jermaine Reeve, another guy. He's the guy I was talking about earlier. Went to Miami Northwestern, where Teddy and Eli are from. He just sniffed out a wide receiver screen and just laid the wide receiver out.
That was a clean hit.
Exactly.
That was a clean hit.
That was a clean hit.
The press box, I will tell you, this press box is the most quiet area ever. But when that hit went out, it was
he sniffed it right out.
It was a reaction. He rocked that guy. Clean hit. I don't know why there was a penalty. I really do not know.
Jermaine also then ended up having a sack later on. So I mean, he had a big game for a safety. A couple guys didn't play for Louisville. Floyd didn't play, the defensive back. Andrew Johnson didn't play. I don't know. I haven't read everything last night. I don't know exactly what happened. I'd love for someone to call in and tell us. Maybe if our man Mark Blankenbaker's
John
listening.
Hancock.
John Hancock.
He was in the locker room after the game.
Yeah, John Hancock definitely. I'll try to get in touch with John about that. But I want to know where Andrew Johnson was. We had a couple plays where they just threw up jump balls to the wide receiver.
Same play twice got Louisville on touchdowns.
Yeah,
the same play.
That was tough because the defensive back just kind of, Now
I know something you were very, very excited about. Abraham Nacho Garcia getting some snaps. I know you're a big Nacho fan.
He's so big. This guy
huge.
Seems to be a good kid, and he is a monster. So it's nice to see somebody who is a true freshman. I think he's like 6'5", 340, and he's lost a lot of weight. To come in and get some snaps early on, and he did. It was in the second half, whereas in the first half, the Cards weren't really able to move the ball, running the ball with the running backs. They relied on Teddy, waiting for a broken play, and then scrambling for some yardage. I mean, Sonoris Perry, as great as he's been this year, he averaged 2.6 yards a carry. Jeremy Wright right there, 2.5 yards a carry.
I want to bring up your running backs. I'm glad you brought them up. 2012. Total rushing touchdowns, Kelly. You have 19.
13 all last year?
13 all of last year, 17 in 2010, 15 in 2009, 18 in 2008. You've already eclipsed your last 4-year rushing total touchdowns. You go back to 2007, 22, 2006, 35,
wow.
2006, 35, 2004, 47. 2005, 41. The Bobby Petrino era. Is that offense coming back a little bit? Maybe not the high scoring 50s every game, but I mean, look at the run game. I sure would like to think so.
That's what my memories from the Petrino era, kind of involve. Whether it was Lionel Gates or Colby Smith or obviously Michael Bush. Regardless of who it was back there, Eric Shelton. They were running backs in and out. That's why a couple years ago when Charlie got here and we went with Bilal Powell as our primary running back. I was kind of hesitant to jump on board with that. I like a system because what I fell in love with was Petrino's system where he rotated in a few backs, and they're kind of doing that now between the Sonoris Perry and Jeremy Wright. Obviously, Dominique Brown, the coaches say he could come in if an injury, if they needed him. But I'm liking, so to your point, I'm loving the production, especially the touchdowns from the running backs.
Now, let's look at the other side of the aspect here before we hit this break. Your Devontae Parker, had a big game last week. Obviously, his career highs in basically, I think, reception and catches. Being a younger kid, come to this week, not really there.
Yeah, which is okay. I
don't you want that? Don't you want him to get the ball more? I mean, I guess it's hard to say. Louisville is pretty deep, so it's hard to say this guy should get this, that guy should get that. But I think I'm just a Devontae Parker fan. When I saw him in high school, that's the only reason I ask you this.
I would like to see him targeted more, sure. At the same time, if I question Teddy Bridgewater's decision making, I would just sound like a fool. So I would. That guy just sits back there. He reads the defense. If something's there, he doesn't care. I think he connected with 8 different receivers in the first half.
Yeah.
So he'll find him.
It's hard to say.
Devontae plays a pivotal role in the offense. There's no question about that. He's a big guy. But
obviously
at the same time, it's working. We got
working.
Damian Copeland, who is, let me see, is he the same height as him? Well, he's 6'1". I guess he's not. But we've got big receivers, Andrell Smith. We've got different guys who can work it. I agree with you, though, especially, and you could tie this into us getting James Quick. James Quick likes to see the number one receiver coming in, doesn't he? If
yeah.
you're James Quick, don't you think you'd be more impressed if Devontae Parker had 10 catches yesterday? Their number one local receiver.
That would be.
So that's
maybe.
a way you could spin it and say yes.
I think he's going to go to Ohio State.
Okay,
That's my guess.
There's still a chance he'll go to.
But I mean, if Louisville keeps this up, Charlie Strong stays. There's no reason why he wouldn't want to go to Louisville as well. You know, he's got great options. Let's just say that with Louisville, Ohio State, and Oregon being his top three. When he told that us on the Montrell Jones show.
Those are the three.
Not bad.
Those are the three biggest powerhouse football schools in the country.
Yeah, it's not bad. Let's get to the. I don't like hearing you say that. I know you got the little smirk on your face. Let's get to the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz line real quick. If anybody else wants to give us a shout, 384-1450. Our man, The Truth, he's on the line, straight from Indiana. Hey, The Truth, what happened to your Hoosiers yesterday?
Defense.
I turned it on, and it seemed like Indiana was actually going to maybe win this game, and now I turned it off when it was on, and they lost by just points or two.
Our defense ranked 130 in the nation.
Wow.
130 in the nation. Offense is great, but the defense. But we gonna get it together. At least we into ball games this year.
Yeah, definitely.
But I'm tell you who impressing me, Teddy Bridgewater. Give that man another year. You better look out. Sky's gonna be the limit for him.
Yeah, definitely. Coming from the Kentucky standpoint here, Kelly had to step out of the room for a second. Kelly, he was talking about Teddy Bridgewater, how he said he would give him, basically the game ball because he was very impressed with him. Said give him one more year and watch out. I mean, there's a Heisman candidate.
Yeah. Oh, you can't argue with that. Teddy Bridgewater looked, like I said, I mean, as good as a quarterback really could look. He didn't put up the big touchdown numbers or anything, but what he did was he did what needed to be done for his team to move the ball, and you can basically credit him with those first half rushing touchdowns, in my opinion.
Hey, I got one for you. They get ready to get knocked out. Notre Dame just been barely winning. They get blow out against Oklahoma. I'm telling you, I'm going on land to tell them the truth. Say Oklahoma going to blow Notre Dame out.
Truth, I'm actually right there with you. I think this is Notre Dame's a pretty good team. I think this is the time they lose because they have to go to, obviously, Stillwater to take on Oklahoma and the Sooners, so that's never easy. Before I let you go, Truth, for this break, what happened to, obviously you saw what happened to my Reds, a debacle, but what happened to your Yankees?
I think they looked at the 27 championship and said, well, 28 is coming, and they forgot they left their hitting. But I tell you what, your Cincinnati Reds going to be established the next 3 years.
Oh yeah.
But my Yankees, we're going to have to start over from scratch. We done got two old Father Time that caught up with us.
You might be right, but luckily the Yankees have plenty of money to retool immediately. But Truth, as always, I appreciate the call, and you have a good Sunday.
Right. You too, brother.
Good point there about Truth. He was about the Reds.
Yeah,
they are loaded for the next few.
You got to say
years.
they are. Yeah, the rotation. You got to say solid.
Yeah.
Bronson.
Not to get off topic.
Yeah,
but
we could flip the switch there.
We
but
could,
I mean,
and on his Yankees, they're never out of it.
Yeah, there's different ways we could go with that. I don't know. I mean,
good. Let's get to a break.
Okay.
We'll come back and we'll talk a little bit maybe about this Kentucky game. I do know we have Farrell at 11. We also are going to have Dave Spelker on Vite Magazine at the 11:25. Right after Farrell. So a little high school talk. We didn't get to talk to him yesterday. The show hour changed a little different. So we'll talk to Dave and Farrell. This is the Weekend Sports Buzz. We'll be right back.
This is the Weekend Sports Buzz. Let us know what you think. Give us a call on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line at 384-1450.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Myself, Tyler Boyd, Kelly Patrick, every Sunday, 10 to noon, right here on 1450 AM. And, of course, 1450thesportsbuzz.com. Great information on there. All of the UK, U of L, Western, Northern Kentucky. Getting a lot of good Northern AKU stuff coming. Everything you can ask for throughout the state, Indiana area. Right there on 1450 Sports Buzz, courtesy of KentuckySports.co. Great crew we got going on over there. And, of course, if you want to get in on the action today, Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line, 384-1450. Shoot us a text on the Lotus Gunworks text line, 414-1450. We'll get in all the action. We just talked a little bit about Louisville Cardinals. We're going to get into a little bit of Kentucky talk this segment, leading up into, second hour might be a little basketball chatter, just, getting towards the season. There was a lot of news over the week, preseason-wise, Big East Media Week, you were full of ish, you were full of that talk between, Patino and Boeheim. It should be fun second hour. And, of course, this segment is always brought to you by Franklin Taxes and Accounting, servicing residents and business owners nationwide. We offer financial planning, tax preparation services, estate planning, LLC, and corporation setup, forensic auditing. We can help any corporation or small business with payroll, monthly financials, bookkeeping, and much more. We are located right there in southern Indiana, 611 Watt Street, Jeffersonville, just right down the road from where we are right now. Contact their friendly and dedicated CPA, Marcy Franklin, who has over 15 years of experience, 502-424-1179, or check out their website, franklintaxes.com, for further information. We appreciate Franklin Taxes and Accounting for being a part of 1450 Sports Buzz and the KFFSC, which is, Farrell Elliott, the Big Freeze commissioner. So we appreciate Marcy and her gang over there at Franklin Taxes Accounting. Getting into it a little bit here, Kelly. If you want to follow us on Twitter, at KYSports.co. And then also at 1450 Sports Buzz. We're shooting out tweets all day right there at your fingertips of news, and like the Louisville winning, Kentucky losing, all the latest blogs. And on that, Kentucky 27-22 loss last night to number 11 Georgia, or 29-24 to number 11 Georgia. I caught this game on the FS of Ohio. Very impressed with the way Kentucky played. I was very happy. They showed a lot of heart. They had the early lead. We scored touchdowns in the first quarter in the first time in 2 years. I mean, that right there showed me that this team came ready to play. I know it was homecoming night. Good crowd. Definitely the best crowd maybe of the season. They brought it. They didn't win. Another ranked team, number 11 Georgia. It's hard to win, especially when you're so dang young.
Yeah. They're in a tough situation. I don't envy the position that Kentucky's in. But you're right. They definitely appeared to make some progress yesterday, which you can't complain, when that happens. They scored some touchdowns. And, the defense didn't even look that bad. I didn't see the whole thing. I caught a lot of it on TV.
Well, they only gave up 9 points. That was the most in one quarter, for Georgia. If you look at Florida or maybe another game, South Carolina, there's 2-3 touchdowns in a quarter at times. So, yes, the defense, for most part, played well. There were some breakdowns in the secondary that caused a couple touchdowns. I'm talking Andy Murray sent out some deeper balls, breakdown, wide open, got into the house. There's the easy 6. There's a few of those that really hurt Kentucky. Andy Murray finished this game, Kelly, pretty impressive game.
Aaron Murray.
Aaron Murray. Yeah. I keep saying Andy Murray, the tennis player. Aaron Murray finished 30 for 38, 427 yards.
Wow.
Pretty big ball game. But that shows that right there, the secondary of Kentucky is super young. Mm-hmm. It's super young. Injuries as well. Nelms isn't even there. A guy who played well around in there, but Dupree, freshman. I'm excited about the future. I really am. I really am excited about the future. We were talking about it on the way up here. The freshmen, the sophomores, they are fast. You need speed to win football, especially in this time, this era. You do.
You still are confident you need a new coach, though.
I'm confident there needs to be a change. I still always like Joker Phillips. I think he is doing what he could do with this schedule, with this team, with the injuries. Yes, there are times that it's just ugly, and it is on the coach's shoulder. Morgan Newton in the game against Florida, you got to take the kid out. You're hurting the kid when he's going in, sticking around, throwing that pick after pick, ball over 30 yards over receiver.
Yeah, a lot of that. I don't. I mean, we can go back and forth on stuff like that because Morgan Newton's been around for 4 years.
Yeah, but he hasn't played much. I mean,
he practices.
Oh, cool. I could go practice, and that'd suck.
Okay, well, if you're a quarterback and you practice, you should be able to go out there and do better than what he did against Florida.
I agree. I totally agree. And that's
so, I mean,
obviously
just pinning that on. And I know that you like Joker. I'm just saying.
It's time for a change. I've told you this for the past 2 weeks, I believe. Mm-hmm. It's time for a change. And I'm still on the Bobby train. I am. Get on the Bobby Petrino train.
Get on the Bobby Petrino motorcycle.
I am on the Bobby Petrino motorcycle. I'm not a young, hot blonde, but I'm on the motorcycle.
There's some young, hot blondes who played on the volleyball team in Lexington that would, happily
don't you go there.
Don't
you go there.
On a ride with him on the bike.
I'm sure there's a cheerleader around town here that would love to hop on that motorcycle. Anyways, that's not here or there. I don't really want to talk about coaching changes right now. The overall performance last night, I was happy. Mm-hmm. Did you catch, maybe half of the game, a little bit of this game?
Maybe half of it.
I knew you were going to be a little fan. You're celebrating your 7-0. The whole way home, I'm telling you, I heard Bacon. Bacon's in the back of his short bus. 7-0. He's just singing.
You got to be happy. I'm happy as hell.
I'm trying to listen to my man Tom Leach. Make the great call over in Lexington, Kentucky, and Bacon's just singing. The dumbest songs. Talking about how undefeated you are, and congrats, Bacon. But Kentucky played well. I expect not much of improvement next year. Why? Because the schedule doesn't get any easier. Still young. Yeah, injuries, you never know. I guess I can't say that just because, we might have a coach that just dominates. Maybe a Cutcliffe-type coach that comes in and turns the program around immediately. I mean, look what he's done to Duke. 6-1. Bowl eligible, first time since 94. I'm not saying he's coming to Kentucky, that caliber type of coach.
Yeah.
But
you never know. Max Smith or,
that's a few more weeks away.
The other guy, Tolles.
Patrick
Tolles. You can get some momentum going.
He's got some good young guys, especially at the quarterback section. I mean, Jalen Whitlow, not a bad guy to have on your roster. Not saying I want him being a starting quarterback. I want Max Smith or Patrick Tolles to win that job in the future.
Regardless of your optimism as a fan and your kind of positive supporting your Cavs.
I'm very optimistic.
Which is great. That's great. Regardless, this has to be considered a low point.
It's a very low point. I mean, when you're looking at a potential 2 wins.
This is like if we were comparing this to someone who dabbles in using drugs, this is when they just sold their kids toys.
On the deep end. Yeah.
They just sold their kids toys to buy a rock, and they lost their home.
It's true.
This is just rock bottom, you're done.
2 loss wins. I mean, you're going to beat Samford. And we talked about it earlier. I honestly think Kentucky will beat somebody other than Samford, and maybe even 2 wins. If they play like they did last night, I think they'll beat Vanderbilt if they can do that. I think they could beat Missouri on the road. I don't think Missouri is Missouri of last year or the year before. I really don't. I know you got a stupid little smirk on your face right now.
I'm just saying. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm not. I honestly wish Kentucky was better.
3 wins. I mean, you can laugh at that all you want.
They've only had 1 win.
I'm saying if they get the 3.
Realistically, I think a realistic observer would say they'll get 2 total.
I'll be realistic and say 2. I have said I think they could beat those 2 teams. I don't think they'll beat Tennessee on the road. Tennessee is pissed off. I mean, look at what we did with a receiver last year. Maybe if Matt Rourke's back in the lineup, we'll beat him again. I don't think it's going to happen.
Maybe you should put your man
Buki,
the wide receiver at
Lil Rod King.
LeRod King, line him up at quarterback.
Interesting stat about LeRod King. I'll let you get back to say. King had 23 receptions in the first 3 games, Kelly.
Last night,
That's a big number.
And over the last 4?
Since then, only 9. Wow. 9 or 10.
It's the lack of continuity with the quarterback.
It is.
And that's got to be frustrating for a
we
senior.
air raided with Max Smith. It was air raid. Oh, I loved it. I really did. But we're back to your point.
Samford Bulldogs, guys.
Listen here, Samford. We are coming for you. Our hearts, everything. Samford, you sons of.
They're 5-3, Tyler.
Freaking out.
5-3. They won their first.
Samford isn't.
They won their first 4 games, and they lost to Georgia Southern. They beat Citadel.
Tough.
Lost to Appalachian
Sounds like
State.
bowl schedule.
They lost at Chattanooga yesterday.
Yeah, they're not a good team.
Terrell Owens played for Chattanooga, Tyler.
Terrell Owens.
He did.
Good. Look at that stat.
I'm just saying.
Out of nowhere.
It's not like they're playing nobodies. Sanford is ready.
No.
You guys might lose to Sanford.
Oh my God! If they lose to Sanford, I'm tackling you that that's next Sunday. I'm legitimately going to do that.
They're playing Wofford this next Saturday.
No,
They're playing Elon. Never heard of them. Then
I've heard of
Kentucky.
Elon, but Sanford. I know you're just getting a good kick out of it right now, but for real, Sanford, I think Kentucky will beat somebody. It'll be Vanderbilt. It'll be Missouri. It'll be one of those two. They will not have two. I just trust. I still believe in the team. I know the coach might be on the way out. And if you don't think he's on the way out, if you have a reason why Joker Phillips should stick around the Kentucky program, give me a shout. 384-1450. I want to know why, because I don't think he should. As much as I love the guy, he's a great guy. He really is. He's a good football mind. If he was going to stick around and recruit, sign him up. But he's just something we need to change. We need a little something else in there. Louisville, Kentucky, basketball. And we're going to talk about that a little bit coming up here in about 20 minutes. Next segment. I want to talk about a little bit about the college football across the country. How about that? There's some good games yesterday.
Sure.
Maybe an upset here and there. So let's go ahead and jump to our break here. Again, 384-1450. Of course, you can shoot us a text. The Lotus Gunworks text line, 414-1450. For Kelly Patrick, I'm Tyler Boyd. We'll be right back in the Weekend Sports Buzz.
Now back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Call in on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line at 384-1450.
Long gray beard, got a long gray beard. It's a cake-roll, save the habits, Eric Gorn. Eric Gorn.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Got a little takeoff of Gangnam Style. I don't know exactly what version that is, but I saw a pretty good Mitt Romney one yesterday.
Was that the Mitt Romney one,
No, that
Adam?
wasn't. What was that,
No.
Adam?
Which one was that? Who's Adam mic'd up? I do want to know that.
That was Lord of the Rings Gandalf style.
Oh,
Lord of the Rings Gandalf style. Not bad.
good stuff. A lot of good takeoffs of that.
You're a Lord of the Rings character. You look like one.
Which one?
I don't know any of them.
Well,
Smeagol.
interesting that you could say that.
You look like Smeagol. That's the only one I know from a current. Yeah.
I don't even know what that means. I don't know who that is.
I don't either.
Doesn't affect me.
I want
I'm
to throw
okay
this
with
out there real quick before we get it going. Cincinnati Reds swept the New York Yankees in a World Series today in 1976.
it. In your face, Yankees.
In your face,
Woo!
Yankees. We got you. 1976. It's like the Louisville Cardinals. Good God. Anyways.
Reds have won it in 1990. Though,
Yep.
So, I mean.
Better than Louisville. 384-1450, the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz line if you all want to get in. 414-1450. Give us a shout on the text line. We like text. Texts are fun. You can say whatever you want to. We can bleep it out. We can say it over the air. We can do whatever we need to do. But a little bit of college football slate from across the country yesterday and maybe Thursday. Starting off Oregon, easiest money of the week. I know they only won by 11 or 12, but the line was 8 on their Friday night game. That's easy money, Kelly. That's the gambler's dream right there. Wouldn't you agree? 8 for Oregon?
It's tough for me to say against Arizona
You're not a
State.
big gambler, are you?
No, not really.
Me neither, because I don't have the money to gamble, but I love gambling.
Me neither. Is Arizona State where what's his name from West Virginia, Rich Rod is?
Yes, he is. Yes, it is.
Yeah. So that wasn't that tough. I mean, they've got a nice system. Let's look at Arizona State's record.
They dominated. I'm sorry.
5-2.
I looked at the wrong score. It's 43-21. That's easy money. 8-point line. Why didn't I put it?
They were giving Rich Rod some credit.
Are they?
I guess, right? You got to say they're
Rich Rod's 5-2, 3-1 in the Pac-12. Which Pac-12? I don't know who he's played in the Pac-12. Yeah, it might be the bottom of the Pac-12, but it's not that bad. Not bad for Rich Rod. I know our guy Brad Steen at KentuckySports.co wants him to be looked at as a candidate for Kentucky.
What do you think of that?
I do not.
Why?
I just don't like Rich Rod.
You don't like the spread?
I don't like dirty West Virginia.
All I hear
That's all
from
it is.
Kentucky fans is you can't do the
spread in the SEC.
No. What I hear from Kentucky fans is you can't just play like Georgia plays or LSU or Alabama. You have to do kind of not gimmicky, but you have to kind of mix it up and try some throwing it deep, and you have to do what Andre Woodson was so good at.
So basically, it has to be Alabama is what they want.
No,
you can just totally mix 200 in rushing, 300 passing, just looking like
but
a professional
Alabama
team.
is in LSU. They're a slow it down, run the ball, out defense you, and what Kentucky may need
Alabama's,
to do.
Yeah, go ahead.
What they may need to do is to mix it up and spread offense. Maybe a perfect cure for it.
I don't think we're fast enough.
Brad may be onto something there. I think.
I don't think so. I mean, maybe, but I just don't think
It didn't work in the Big Ten. It didn't work in the Big Ten with Michigan.
It only worked in the Big East, and that's about it. Also, look around the country. Number one, Alabama, as we just mentioned, they have a offense and a defense now, Kelly. This season, it's stupid. They put it on with Tennessee. We're coming for you again, Tennessee.
How much better does it make you feel about the state of college football to slide in comments about the Big East? How much better? Just, quantum. On a scale of 1 to 10.
It helps.
On a scale of 1 to 10.
It puts a smile on my face. Is that okay? Is it just
I'm
like
just
you
curious.
all and you and the Card fans try to make fun of the SEC in basketball when we're going to be better than you this year, easily, in conference-wise? Yeah, go for it. Big East.
You think that going to be better for sure? Conference, let's see.
Pretty sure.
I haven't seen the actual rankings.
We'll talk about that in the second hour. We get on that. You pull that up. We'll go down some more scores here. Florida knocked off South Carolina 44-11. You said it on the way up here. Florida's the real deal. Do you think they could compete with Bama in that SEC championship or that national championship?
Sure.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think anybody can compete with Bama. I just think they're a little better than everybody. I really do. I mean, anybody can win any night. I know that. Another very good game yesterday. I thought it was going to be an upset, as did the whole area where I was. BYU, Notre Dame. Notre Dame pulled it out in the last quarter, late in the game, 17-14 to stay perfect. Obviously, like we were talked to earlier, going to Oklahoma this upcoming week. I think that 7-0 mark will be 7-1. Oklahoma's pretty good. Oregon State late night game 21-7 over Utah. LSU 24-19 over A&M. Welcome to the new conferences, guys. I wanted to mention that. Welcome West Virginia to the Big 12. You've been blasted on the past 2 weeks against the legit teams. Welcome Texas A&M and Missouri to the SEC. It's a change. It really is.
Can I make a case that Alabama?
That's why I said it.
Can I make a case that Alabama is overrated? Let's look at who they beat.
You are so dumb.
They beat Michigan, who is ranked number 8.
Okay.
That's a good win.
Mm-hmm.
Then they go on to beat Western Kentucky.
One of the best non-power conference wins out there. Right?
Okay.
Okay.
Then they beat Arkansas.
Top 10 preseason squad. Very talented. Would be top 15 if Bobby Petrino was still there, and you can't disagree.
And they'd also be top 10 probably if they had Joe Montana in his prime. Doesn't do anything for the actual.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Florida Atlantic, they beat. Mississippi.
Good team.
Sure, they're not ranked.
Oh, Ole Miss. I'm sorry. I was thinking Mississippi State.
Okay. Missouri.
Yeah.
You were just ripping
I know.
on them.
I don't know.
Then they beat Tennessee yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying Alabama's no good. All I'm saying is Louisville could beat them.
I now hate you. We are no longer
I'm just kidding.
co-hosts.
But in all honesty, that's not as impressive of a resume thus far as you would think, is it?
Oh, no. If you want to look at schedule-wise, I mean,
they're
coming from a
getting ready to
Louisville fan, you shouldn't be able to even talk schedule-wise. But, if you want to
It's
put it that way.
It's a tougher schedule. They've beaten one ranked team so far. It's a tougher schedule than Louisville has had, no question. But I'm just saying, they've beaten one ranked team so far.
Cool.
How impressive is that?
That's, I guess, not that
So
impressive.
let's see how many Florida has beat.
Florida has beat Texas A&M. They just beat LSU, or South Carolina, excuse me. They beat LSU already. Pretty impressive. I agree. I definitely agree. That coach from Muschamp is insane, by the way. He will get into your players up 40 points. He doesn't care. Then a little bit more scores. Florida State 33 over the U20. Could have been a Teddy Bridgewater-led Miami team until he committed to Cards, obviously. Your big one, Rutgers over Temple. Temple went up early. Rutgers put it on them, 30 unanswered. Texas Tech over TCU. Your Cards, 27-25 over to South Florida, setting up the what would have been an awesome Friday night game is kind of blundered down since Cincinnati got beat by Toledo. Congrats, Cincinnati! Toledo. I know you beat Arizona in first game of the season overtime. Pretty decent win. Arizona's not the best. That is actually who Rich Rodriguez coaches.
Yes.
Other than that, it's nothing. Mm-hmm. Nothing. Terrible.
But they have a good
nothing.
record.
7-1's a good record, obviously, but when you're playing nobodies, I mean, you still win games. Mm-hmm. You still winning. You're obviously a winning program.
How much would Kentucky tear Toledo up?
I'm not saying they tear Toledo up. I'm just making fun of Cincinnati.
Okay, well,
just
laugh it up.
There goes your 21 ranked. You're undefeated.
This is the ranked teams Florida has beat. When they played them, Florida has beat Tennessee, who's ranked 23rd, LSU, who's ranked 4th, South Carolina, who's ranked 9th, Georgia, who's ranked 13th. Mm-hmm. I'm developing a little feel for saying Florida's better than Alabama.
That's fine. Well, you put in your vote then for Florida.
I do have a vote.
I know. That's why I said put your vote in for Florida over Alabama. Let's get to some realistic thoughts, Kelly. Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzzline. To the guy who's not happy right now. His Skip Holtz team lost last night. South Florida Bulls. Carolina Steve. What happened?
I am very happy this morning. I watched some great football yesterday and listened to some on my iPhone. I listened to East Carolina beat Alabama Birmingham 42-35. I watched that great Duke victory over Carolina, the first time Duke's been bowl eligible. And by the way, who was the football coach the last time that Duke won the ACC?
Spurrier.
That is correct. That's why he's the greatest football coach ever. Anybody could win a conference championship at Duke is great. Mm-hmm. And thirdly, Elon is in Burlington, North Carolina.
I've heard of them.
They were formerly known as the Fighting Christians. Now they're the Phoenix. They were two-time NAIA Division I champions in football.
Wow.
They're now in the Southern Conference. Their baseball team annually goes to the NCAA. And they're a good team. As a matter of fact, I coached against them when they won the first championship, and I was on their sidelines when they won the second one because my best friend in coaching was the D coordinator there, and so I was there as his guest and everything. And they were a real good ball club. They take players, other teams that they'd either have academic problems or be unhappy, and they would go, and that's how they would get their good football players.
Yeah, Carolina coming with 100 stats on us there.
Yeah,
Jeez.
Carolina's had some good coffee this morning. I like the Spurrier question. I mean, that's very relevant. Duke bringing it this year. How good is Duke, Carolina?
Well, they'll probably lose their next 4 football games. If they wouldn't have won this one, they wouldn't be bowl eligible. Their schedule is probably weaker than Louisville's.
Whoa.
Which is hard to do.
Yes.
And by the way, Kelly, I don't know if you drinking that blackberry or that cherry moonshine, but there ain't no way the Cardinals could even step on the field against the Alabama Crimson Tide and Nick Saban, who is the best coach in any sport in college sports.
I agree with you. I was joking. I know it gets the Kentucky fans riled up when, even if Louisville fans don't say that they think they could play with Alabama, that's all I hear is, you guys go play Alabama and see what happens. I mean, I agree with you though. Nick Saban, it's not too different from, I'm giving Calipari credit. It's not too different from Cal going to Kentucky. What do you think of that comparison, Carolina?
I don't think there's any comparison at all because Coach Saban does it without trying to bring the limelight to himself. He tells them his work. He has good assistants. He recruits hard. This year, he doesn't even have the top football, but he's going to have some good ones and everything. And I think their defense, you're talking about their defense, I think their defense is one of the best I've ever seen this year. I thought last year's was good, but I think this year's is just as good or better. And one thing before I go, I will not watch the football game with Louisville Friday night. Tommy Turtleneck and the Big East have to realize that Friday is for high school football, not for college football. It takes away from the attendance. It takes away from the roots of football, and I just refuse to watch any football game other than high school on Friday night. Y'all have a good day.
You too, Carolina. Coming in hot today.
Carolina bringing the heat this morning.
Bringing the heat. Wow.
I don't have a problem with him taking a shot at Friday night games.
I don't either. I don't have a problem with him taking a shot 2 times at Louisville in that segment.
I'm okay with that. You don't like Tom Jurek.
Tommy
Turtleneck. That's okay.
Turtleneck.
I love him. Best athletic director in the country.
He is pretty good. I think
it.
Louisville and Kentucky have one of the best.
Okay.
I mean,
I think Jurek overall is better.
Why? What makes him better? No national championships? What makes him better? What makes him better? Tell me right now.
His hires. What do you mean? Look the hires he's done with the football program. Are you kidding me?
Cool, 1 year. What if Mitch
Barnhart? Does football matter in your eyes?
So if Mitch Barnhart goes out and gets Petrino or maybe a Jim Tressel name, we're better, right? He's better, 100% better, right?
No, not all of a sudden.
Why? Hires. Why?
If he one hire, not all of a sudden. I'm talking
2 hires.
He hired Bobby Petrino.
Calipari.
He hired.
Oh, yeah,
that's another hire. John Calipari.
That'd be 2 hires. Better than Louisville's hire, so he's better, right?
Whatever. Yeah, I don't think you have a case.
I'm arguing what you just said.
Somebody call in here and say that
I don't want their thoughts. I want you to tell me why Tom Jurek is better AD than Mitch Barnhart. Without looking, what are you going to look up? Stats? What are you going to look up? Tell me.
Rick Pitino, Bobby Petrino, Charlie Strong. What he's done with the non-revenue sports.
Rich Brooks,
is this
John Calipari.
Is this real?
Non-revenue sports. We had a better non-revenue sports year than Louisville. I mean,
based on what numbers?
Based on the 2 national things, the races where your overall sports performance programs could win you like the cup.
All right, let's look at revenue programs. Okay.
Okay.
Is football important when it comes to revenue?
Very. It's number 1.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you. It's hands down number 1.
Number 1.
Let's look at the culture, what they're handed, and what they've done with it. Is that fair? Is that relevant? Is that relevant?
I don't really. I'm kind of confused on that. Your point there.
What has Tom Jurek done with the culture of football for the University of Louisville?
Nothing with Steve Crackthorpe, and now he revived it with your boy Charlie Strong.
Also, Bobby Petrino won an Orange Bowl. I mean,
they are very comparable.
No, they're not.
Billy Gillespie, Rich Brooks, Billy Gillespie, John Calipari.
Mm-hmm.
Then you look at Tom Jurek.
Everything you're doing is basketball. Obviously, you guys have had more success with. Okay.
I'm down going to football for Louisville and basketball. Rick Pitino, obviously, he's the only guy he's hired. So you're cool with Rick Pitino. But
very much so.
Obviously, our coach is already better than him. Football, though. You went Bobby Petrino, awesome. Terrible. Steve Cragthorpe, now obviously doing very good. Charlie Strong, very comparable. Football to basketball. Go flip it around. One coach, basketball, I mean, they're very comparable.
What Jurek has done at Louisville is he came in 97. He hired John L. Smith in 98.
John L., I forgot John L., good hire.
That's relevant.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not saying it's not.
Is it safe to say Louisville wins football in a landslide?
No.
Okay, well, there's where our disconnect is.
Petrino was there, yes.
There's where our disconnect is.
7-6
When
last
Charlie
year. That's
Strong's
not a
here,
landslide.
we're undefeated right now.
7-6 last year. That's no landslide.
Okay.
I don't know how we got onto the top of our whose AD's better, but they're very comparable. Tom Jurich brought in 10 Big East championships for your Cardinals last year. That is fantastic.
Okay.
I'm not kidding you. But Kentucky, right there with them. 8 championships, or 8 or 9 SEC championships. They are very comparable, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. They both do great for the university. Now,
Barnhart came in 2002.
Barnhart needs to make a big hire for football, though. He has to keep that comparable.
If he were to bring in Jim Tressel or something, which let me kind of reiterate my opinion on that. There's not a snowball's chance in hell of him doing something like that. I mean, we might as well say he might bring Bill Belichick or Herm Edwards.
Bobby Petrino's got a better chance, in my opinion, before Jim Tressel. I think Jim Tressel would 100% say
okay,
no.
So you're right. If 10 years from now we look at it and Barnhart has hired, Jim Tressel or Bobby Petrino, and maybe they've won a BCS championship or something like that, then we can have this conversation.
I mean, not even a
Until
BCS
that
championship. Going, 10 wins. 9, 10, 11 wins throughout, a stretch of seasons like Petrino does wherever he goes. That right there is a huge win. Imagine if Kentucky was putting up 9 wins, Kelly, 10 wins, Kelly, a season in football with what they're doing with basketball. Kentucky and Louisville would be the mecca of college sports.
It certainly would be.
And that's why I think Tom Jurich
Barnhart
are very comparable.
Okay, you can make a case for that. I found it. Barnhart came in 2002. He did hire Rich Brooks. Got to say that was a great hire.
Great hire.
Yeah,
did very well. Joker Phillips. Yeah, Rich Brooks pushed for Joker Phillips. It's kind of not obviously. It's panning out to be a Cragthorpe type thing.
When you're handed the opportunity to be in the hands down best football conference in the country, you're a state university. Yeah. You have the resources that Kentucky has. There is no comparison between Tom Jurich and Mitch Barnhart. Tyler.
Yes, there is.
No, there's not.
Yes, there is.
How much more resources does Kentucky?
You're talking about one sport. Now you're going back to one sport. Let's get a break. Second hour, 384-1450. We're going to talk to Farrell Elliott coming up here at the top of the hour. Fantasy football, and then Dave Spelker of Vite Magazine at about 11:25. So stick with us. This is the Weekend Sports Buzz.
Wizard Gandalf style. Hey, where's my hobbits? Wizard Gandalf style.
The Weekend Sports Buzz. Tell us your thoughts on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line at 384-1450.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. We have our man Farrell Elliott. I believe Farrell is on the line with us this morning. How you doing, Farrell?
I am holding the line, fellas. What's going on?
Very heated morning here at the 1450 studio between me and Kelly. Very heated, very angry.
You mean you guys aren't getting along?
It sounds like a Mason and Myers type morning here.
Oh, my goodness. Well,
No, we're not that
at
bad.
hand?
We're not that bad.
Tell him about the issue, Tyler.
The issue at hand, Farrell, coming from the smartest man on the phone line between us three of us.
I can admit that. Farrell's got me beat.
He's got me beat. Not by much. No.
Guys, it's because I've just lived so damn longer than you.
That helps.
That helps. It really does. Mitch Barnhart, Kentucky Athletic Director. Tom Jurek, Louisville Athletic Director. Very comparable, right? Or no?
No.
What? Why?
What are we comparing? Personalities of the two men?
No. That is very uncomparable. What they have done for the university as a total program.
They have different styles going to a direction. However, basketball usurps everything at University of Kentucky. While Jurek's job, the fact that he is an ex-football player, you can see more of a balance in the programs, in your main two programs. I would have to say Jurek had a longer road to hoe, so I would give the
nod.
I would give the nod to Jurek.
I just think the what they
That
both.
settles it.
Let me explain Farrell my point real quick before we get into fantasy football talk. I just feel like Tom Jurek brought Louisville 10 Big East championships, and he's been doing, very good over the total program over the last, 5-7 years. Same with Mitch Barnhart. He's bringing up multiple championships, not just football and basketball. Me and Kelly were trying to look off just the main two. That's why I feel like they're very comparable. I do know where Kelly coming from. He explains it better than you, Kelly.
Okay.
That's all.
I'm okay with that.
I don't know. Anyways, it's Farrell Elliott. He is the commissioner. Go ahead.
Those guys. I'll say something about those guys. I said the job.
Sorry for them, because neither one of them have the time to play fantasy football.
You are not kidding. If we had those two in this league, I would just go off. I mean, I would just talk so much smack to them.
Well, they would have the type of personalities that they would probably spend an additional 30 hours a week working on their fantasy football. Now, where they would get the time, who would know?
Who would know?
We've got some guys like that.
Yeah, I believe it. I feel like I'm falling into that effect here soon. Anyways, it's Farrell Elliott. He is the commissioner of the KFFSC, that is the Kentucky Fantasy Football State Championship Draft. We had that, 7, 8 weeks, 9 weeks ago. It's unbelievable, Farrell. I mean, it's been that long since that draft.
Yeah, time goes fast when you're having fun, guys, and we've been having a lot of fun. And, for the guys that haven't been as excited about it and have not had the kind of success that you two have had this year, this is a very big week because we got so many teams on bye. Atlanta, Denver, Kansas City, Miami, Philadelphia, San Diego, teams with multiple fantasy studs week in and week out. All those guys are off the roster, off the field for this weekend. So we're not going to see a situation where some of the guys that have stacked up big points for owners, they're just not available. So when you guys go to sit your lineup today, if you're not scrambling, if you can see the lineup out of the 20 players that you drafted and have added during free agency, and it's not a big struggle to put together a lineup, you're likely going to do very well against the rest of the league. And when we tally up the point totals on Tuesday, we could see some big changes in who's winning the contest right now.
Yeah, you're obviously it's the bye week biting everybody. I don't know too much about you, Kelly, what your situation is, but it's taken a toll on me this week, Farrell. My running back situation is very thin. I don't really have a true other than LaShawn Shady McCoy. Obviously, he is my true one. I don't have a true back to really have that 2 spot. I had picked up Isaac Redmond last week. I had to go out and pick up Mike Tolbert just to get a second running back to start this week.
Yeah, that's a tough spot to be in, my friend. Who is your first running back this week?
My first running back this week, if I'm correct, is Pittsburgh. They are on no bye, right?
No, Pittsburgh's playing Cincinnati.
Yes, it would be Isaac Redmond then.
You're playing him? He's out.
I mean, then it's not him.
Okay.
I can't remember off the top of my head, Farrell.
Is Rashard Mendenhall out too, I believe? I think they got another guy in there.
Mendenhall is out. The starter is John Dwyer, and if our waiver wire period in the KFFSC is over, but if players are sitting at home and they're having the same problem that you guys are having in their league, John Dwyer is a nice pickup. One of my favorite stats for running backs, first thing I look at is yards per carry. Jonathan Dwyer's averaged in his career 4.5 yards a carry. He'll have a good game tonight against Cincinnati.
I'm screwed. I have Isaac Redmond starting because he's the only other available back, and he's out. I'm actually put my record to 4-3 this week. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Farrell,
don't give up. I tell you, one of those interesting things from Thursday night's game is there were a couple owners, not many, but a couple owners who employed Golden Tate and Vernon Davis. And you would expect 10 from Tate, 15 from Davis. Both of them put up a goose egg.
Yes,
so at least you've got a goose egg going in, and you know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
Imagine if you had Vernon Davis and watched 4 quarters of football and ended up with a goose egg.
Why is he out? I didn't hear this.
No, sorry, he's not out. He was just taken out by the Seattle defense.
No, I was talking about Isaac Redmond.
Oh, Isaac Redmond is banged up. Redmond.
It was announced early in the week, actually, I believe. But I actually, I'm sitting at 2-4, so you're right, Farrell. This is a big week for me in the KFFSC League. I drafted both Peyton Manning and Phillip Rivers, so this week I had to scramble, and I'm now starting Sam Bradford. So it'll be interesting to see how he does against what, it may not be the best Green Bay defense. I'm hoping Bradford puts up a nice day today.
That's not a bad start at all. That team's going to have to throw the ball to keep up with Green Bay, and there's a player available in a number of leagues over the last couple of weeks, wide receiver Chris Givens. This is a receiver that seemed to separate himself from the pack after Amendola's injury in St. Louis. He's had 50-plus yards in the last 3 games. If you need a receiver, Chris Givens would be a great start for you this weekend.
That sounds great. I'm not happy. I really want Sunday to just go past me right now. I'm pissed off.
On a lighter note, DeMarco Murray is out, so he was one of my top picks. He was actually my first round pick. I had the very last pick in the first round. Fortunately, though, I locked him up. I'll be starting Felix Jones today against Carolina.
So he was your handcuff. Felix Jones has been on your roster since week 1.
Yes, sir.
That's brilliance. That's exactly what you need to do. When you have a first-round draft pick, you've got to lock him up. Everyone who's in the league this year with their first-rounders is experiencing and not having that player available, it seems. And it seems, we're in week 7, so you can project the fact that through the rest of the season, you're not going to have some of your players available. A player today who is not available and breaking hearts of all the owners is tight end Jimmy Graham of the New Orleans Saints. And when you look at the Saints, you say, well, what do I do with that? Well, Graham is such a prolific player. You can now expect increased production from Lance Moore, definitely from Sproles. Sproles has had one significant game like he had last year. He hasn't been anywhere near what he's done to justify his second-round draft pick status. Pierre Thomas, move him up. He's possibly a fill-in bye-week player from week-to-week decision on him. I would start Pierre Thomas in most leagues. Maybe even go as deep as Devery Henderson if you need a receiver.
You would think maybe Marcus Colston, being a big guy, former tight end, should get some of those jump balls in New Orleans.
Colston gets Colstons no matter what. You can count on him. And
right.
I'm glad you guys brought him up because he was out of favor this year. Colston deserved commentary as a third-round draft pick wide receiver, and he was going at the bottom of that and in the 4th round, and whoever has taken Colston is getting much more production than what they paid for him in the draft.
Yeah, you're definitely right. I picked up, the guy who used to be there, Meacham, and he's been okay. Obviously, he's had some very non-showing up nights, but I'm not really worried about him. That's not my issue today. No.
Tyler is super down after
I'm not happy right now.
After
Farrell.
he realized his Isaac
Well,
Redman
Tyler, why don't we
falling.
take a look at your lineup? Why don't you pull it up and let's go over it and let's see what we can get out of it. Maybe there's a mystery there that we can solve.
Well, I'm. It's right here, Farrell, and I have bye on my running backs, except for Mike Tolbert and Isaac Redman.
Well, now, Tyler, we knew this. We have 2 free agency periods in the KFFSC.
I know.
Have you been just sitting and bemoaning the fact that Cincinnati Reds are not playing baseball and you could not get onto the waiver wire
Farrell,
and make those moves?
He hasn't been showering. I mean, he's really let himself go after that game.
What do you have at quarterback and wide receiver that could perhaps balance this situation out?
You have to play 2 running backs, right?
Well, you have to play 2, so you're going to put those 2 running backs, and we might get 3 points out of Tolbert. So let's move on to sunnier days and look at your quarterback and wide receiver. Is there any potential there?
I've Matt Stafford versus Chicago or Ryan Fitzpatrick at Tennessee, and then my receivers, I've got Bolden going. I have James Jones and Michael Floyd going.
Okay, well, now, see, that's a Michael Floyd. Well, let's talk first about James Jones. Here's your leading or one of your leading touchdown makers at wide receiver. I think it's 7 so far for Jones. You know, guys, interesting that we're going to see Calvin Johnson Monday night. He's had 1 TD so far this year, 1 receiving TD, 9 TDs. This time last year, only 1 this year.
Madden curse.
Why is there no one on your roster better than Michael Floyd? Who's the receiver that's on the bench?
Well, I could put Ruben Randall in. No. I do have Ruben, but no, that's a no. On the bye, I have Dwayne Bowe, Robert Meacham on the bye. See, I run 2 tight ends.
You're not going to play them.
I have 2 tight ends. I put Heath Miller and Rob Gronkowski in.
Well, see, now there's some beauty at tight end, and both those tight ends tonight you could expect scores from them today. So that will help with your running back situation. Floyd is a desperation play.
Yep.
You've got a situation where this is not a real good passing matchup for this. So you've got 3 holes in your lineup. Now, what's your decision that you're going to make a quarterback?
I'm thinking about going Ryan Fitzpatrick against Tennessee.
I think we can live with that.
Over Stafford.
Over Stafford against Chicago.
Wow.
I think we can live with that. You know, Chicago has been very, very stingy with their defense. Their ball-hogging defense. They could make some interceptions. The only thing that they're a little bit subject to a big play. They won't give up enough big plays for you to make points with Stafford. Yeah, put your top-rated quarterback on the bench and go ahead and start Fitz and hope to ring up some really, really big points.
I'm basically banking on going with that big L this week. It's okay because I am 4-2. I've still got a great chance. I wanted to ask you something else. Another receiver out there that people have, Tennessee's wide receiver, Kendall Wright. What about this guy?
Kendall Wright is everyone knows his college history from playing with RG3. Now, what I'm looking at in this player, I'm really warming up to him since we got to see the victory over the Steelers, which I think was a Monday night game. I think this is Kendall Wright is like the proverbial poor man's Percy Harvin, and I think he's going to get better every week. We've watched him. We've watched him get these little short passes. We're going to see him start to be more productive downfield because of many reasons, but one of the biggest is that we cannot count on Kenny Britt to catch the ball in that offense. What a terrific player this is that has lost his ability to be a dependable pass catcher in the NFL. And it's a serious thing because they keep feeding the ball to the player. Not only does he not catch it, he's batting it around up in the air, and you know what happens when you start batting balls up into the air against all these zone defenses in the NFL. But Kendall Wright looks to me to be one of those young players that you take in the draft and you hope continues to get better towards the end of the year, and that's what we're going to see. Players that have fantasy owners that have Kendall Wright will benefit from drafting that player and moving forward as we get into the end of the regular season and the playoffs.
Farrell, if my wife were here, and I'd imagine she's probably listening, she would ask about her biggest concern going into the week, which is, should she start Ahmad Bradshaw? What do you think
definitely.
of the Ahmad Bradshaw situation?
Well, see, that's the kind of question. We always have to understand what kind of league she's playing in, because we have to take these questions as they would come in the Kentucky League, where we play 20 players. And you would have drafted Ahmad Bradshaw in the 3rd round, and yes, you must start him. So it's a no-brainer. Now, she's sitting there with multitude of running backs. If she's playing in a 10-team league where you only have 16 players, perhaps fortune lined itself up where she could have running backs that may be better running backs than Ahmad Bradshaw this weekend, but I doubt it. Yes, she must start him.
Now, I wanted to ask you about a kind of a very important game for me. The Jets and the Patriots, a little battle up in the New England, Boston area. I'm excited for this. What about you?
Yeah, this is the most compelling game on the schedule this weekend, guys. The Jets players circle this. The Patriots players circle this. And everybody gets excited about this ball game. It's a situation where we look first at the Jets defense and you see where their talent is in Cromartie. And Cromartie, you would expect him to shut down Brandon Lloyd, but they may move him off of Lloyd and try to stop Hernandez, which is going to open things up for Gronkowski. But the guy the Jets don't have an answer for is Welker. No one's had an answer for him once New England has made the decision to put him on the field, which I really don't know was a conscious decision. It became a decision when both Edelman and Hernandez were hurt. They had to turn back to Welker, their tried and true receiver, and he has put in near 30 fantasy points per game ever since. He could shoot past that today, especially if you see a lot of Cromartie on Hernandez. On the flip side, Sean Green finally awakened and had a significant game. Now Bilal Powell is not available today, so we're going to get even more Sean Green. Even if the Patriots stretch out to a bit of a lead, I think New York is still going to stick with that rushing game. So Sean Green, who is a player that will never see the roster on my fantasy team, is a player that I would have to advise getting on the field today.
Sean Green did pretty good for me last week. I think it was last week.
Yeah, it was.
No kidding.
Golly.
You've been waiting for that one. You're like the kid under the Christmas tree looking for the pony, and you finally found it last week. So you did really well there.
Farrell, while I got this, I was able to pull up my wife's team, actually.
Really
and
getting some tips.
She's so cooperative. My wife, allows me to come here every Sunday. I think she'd appreciate if I kind of spelled out for you her dilemma. Is that all right with you?
Let's hear it.
All right. She's got to start 2 running backs and a flex player. She's got Trent Richardson, ? Alex Green of the Packers, Ahmad Bradshaw, and then at the flex position right now, she's got Jeremy Curley of the Jets in there. Her other wide receivers she starts are Josh Gordon and Dominique Hickson. So as of right now, she's got Ahmad Bradshaw on the bench, although the system that she's using in the league, which is very neat, it's kind of my dad's wife's in the league, and a couple of my cousins are in it. It's an all-girls league.
It's the family league.
Yeah, kind of neat. She's having a lot of fun with it. So we got to know, does she need to sub in Ahmad Bradshaw over Alex Green of the Packers, you think? I mean, what do you think?
She's got to start 2 running backs. Could one of those 3 be the flex?
One of those 3 could be the flex. Yeah, she could go with 3 running backs.
We are tempted. We are so tempted to get Curley in this game.
Okay.
You want to play Curley because of what you've seen, because he's a developing player. But let's think about Mr. Sanchez. Sometimes, only 100, 150 yards per game. Let's look at the situation with the running backs. No Bilal Powell. We may get a lot more Tebow today. And let's look at the fact that New England's going to keep that ball in their pass controlling offense that eats up time with drives. Let's see the game going that way. Let's take Curley down and put Bradshaw over Curley in the flex.
All right, going with it. Thank you very
much.
There
you go, Farrell.
My wife will be very happy. Thank you.
There you go, Miss Dugan.
She may be happy. We got to sit on the edge of our seat.
Yeah,
till Tuesday.
We'll see how it plays out, and I'll let you know. Regardless, a little bit of a professional's opinion.
I do have Mr. Gerzak's phone number on speed dial right now because when I beat him with 9 players, Farrell, he's going to get a boatload of text messages.
Well, I tell you what, Dave, is that's one of the reasons, and we've said it many times, and anyone's listening that wants to come play with us next year, you get a chance to sit down with the best. Playing fantasy football against Dave Gerzak is just like sitting down and playing poker against one of those guys that you see on television.
Yeah, it was fun.
They're the best. They're a great strategist. Gerzak is that way, and if you beat him, you'll have something to brag about for a long time.
I will definitely do that. You know me, Farrell. Well, appreciate you taking your time again. We'll be talking to Farrell next Sunday at 11, and, of course, every Wednesday, the KFFSC Fantasy Hour. Good talk. Him and Trevor Bacon-Kelsey Wednesdays, so tune in and check him out. And, Farrell, have a good Sunday.
Thank you, guys. Good luck today, and remember, Tyler, waiver wire period opens Tuesday. Let's get busy.
Hey, I missed the first. I got my first guy was taken in the first one, so I had to go Tolbert in the second one. It was a rookie mistake. It will never happen again.
I am going to root for Tolbert like I've never rooted for him before.
Well, thank you, Farrell.
All right, guys. See you.
Hey, have a good one. That was Farrell Elliott, KFFSC.com commissioner. Always our favorite guy every Sunday. I enjoy talking to Farrell about everything and anything. Mitch Barnhart, Kelly, he is comparable to Tom Jurich.
Comparable in that they have the same job title. They're in the same state. They're not that far away proximity-wise from each other. So, yeah, I can go with that. Comparable.
Let's get to our break here. We're going to come back and talk to Dave Spelker of Vite Magazine on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzzline, 384-1450. We'll be right back.
Good job.
I heard the open coming on. He wasn't fucking out on Tuesday.
I made my first waiver wire moves this week.
I make them all. I have to each week. I fucked myself with Kevin Smith. It's fucked me. Everything else has been okay, but that pick of Kevin Smith fucked me. I hope McKellar Shore and the other ones fucking tear their ACLs this week. All of them, except for Kevin Smith. Oh wait, I already dropped it. I don't have any money left either. So I'm out.
You know that last week when we were looking at that picture of the cheerleaders, I was this close to saying, Tyler really likes that picture. Just what am I doing? Just real inappropriate. Very young girls. Just.
He sent me state field hockey is underway down to the Final Four. State soccer starting.
I'll tackle the state field hockey, all right? I'll ask him. Tell us about who's in the Final Four. Who's the favorite? What do you think? That's fine. I should just start announcing that Louisville would mop the floor.
You're listening to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Tell us your thoughts on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line at 384-1450.
We're back here at the Weekend Sports Buzz. Myself, Tyler Boyd, and Kelly Patrick, right here on 1450 AM. Give us a shout, the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line, 384-1450. We are going to go to the Buzz Line right now again, straight off Farrell Elliott. We are going to go to Dave Spelker of Vite Magazine. Dave, good Sunday.
Hey, good morning to you guys. What's going on?
Oh, nothing much. Is in here, talking sports, arguing a little bit, getting the fantasy football, lineup set. It's been a good day so far.
Yes, it has. Yeah, I've been listening in. Usually it's March when you hear people yelling it's tournament time, but let me tell you, in high school sports around here, we are in the midst of it, brother. We have got field hockey, volleyball, soccer all happening right now. So, exciting times.
Yeah, you said the field hockey is...
Yeah, the field hockey, I believe, is in the all the way to the Final Four. Tell us a little bit about that, Dave.
They're into the Final Four now. There were games yesterday, and now advancing to Monday night, we're going to have Sacred Heart is going to play Manual, defending state champion Manual, and then in the other game, it's going to be Ballard against Assumption. And then those winners will come back on Wednesday night and play for the title. And these games are over at Bellarmine University.
The new complex over at Bellarmine. If you've never been there, this would be a great time to get out and check it out. It's a beautiful beautiful complex.
It really is, and the young ladies really enjoy playing there. It's top-notch facilities, yes.
And then you mentioned it, obviously, a sport I played and participated in state with. The state soccer is starting very soon.
Soccer is Monday night. We've got our regional champs, local regional champs going into action. St. X is going to be playing South Oldham. And I don't know if you saw, but St. X had a great game Friday night, defeated Trinity 2-0 for that regional championship. I mean, it's kind of like basketball in this area. It's sad because so many good teams don't even get out of the region.
Yeah, it's a good point.
You can only have one winner, and it's St. X. They're undefeated this year, and they've got to be the favorite to win state. So they're going to play South Oldham, and then Fern Creek from this area is also in the mix.
Wow.
They're going to be playing North Hardin. And then on the girls' side, Assumption won 7th region, and they're going to be playing Oldham County. Mercy won the 6th region, and I think their opening game is against E-Town.
There you go. We got mine and Kelly's alma mater in there, Oldham County, the girls. Go Colonels. We'll give them a little shout-out. Also, more state, like you mentioned, volleyball. I'm sure, is it Assumption, is it Presentation, or is it a Sacred Heart this year?
Assumption is really strong. But I tell you, Mercy can give them a game. And, again, both are in the tournament. I don't know exactly. Actually, I think I do. I recall it would be the finals where the 6th and 7th district champs would meet. So, I mean, it's several matches away, but I see those two on a collision course to quite possibly play again. But, yeah, Assumption's loaded. They're ranked in the top, single digits nationally, and it would be an upset if they don't win it. So.
Yeah. That'd be
we
good.
Shall see.
You mentioned to me in the text that the New Valley High School complex. I did not know about this. I'm assuming you've been there.
I've not been there.
No.
And shame on me. But I will be there for this volleyball. It's a brand new facility, multi-sport facility out at Valley High School. The boys' LIT actually will be played there next year. So I hear it's wonderful. I've seen pictures. It's beautiful, and the city is very lucky to have such a facility. So looking forward to that, yes.
Once again, we have Dave Spelker from Vite Magazine, great magazine that goes out monthly, covers, among other things, mostly, a lot of the great high school sports action here in the Kentucky and southern Indiana area. Dave, tell us about the Indiana football playoffs. They've started.
Well, they have, and I know that Charlestown, Carolina, if he hadn't called in yet, I'm sure he will. They pounded, and I forget their opponent, but it was like 82-0 Friday night in the first round of their playoffs, and they've got to be the favorite to win their division over in Indiana.
Yeah,
and we wish them good luck.
Yeah, Carolina called. Go ahead, Dave.
No, I was just going to say in New Albany and Jeff squared off in the first round of the playoffs, and sadly, only one can advance. But, Indiana's already in the mix of it, and here in Kentucky we've got another week before actually another 2 weeks. We've got one more week of regular season games and then playoffs.
Yeah, on this side of the river, obviously, I mean, the way it looks, it's pretty set in stone for the 6A title, unless there's a big upset in the championship. I do believe Trinity is going to walk off with that one. But, a lot of, the 5A to 4A, it's across the board, very open. We cover a little bit out in the Oldham County area, the South Oldham, North Oldham. They're very tough teams. Eastern, they're very good here locally. So, football, around the southern Indiana and Kentucky, Louisville area is very, very strong right now.
It is. Well, PRP still undefeated.
Yes.
And, we've been giving the football team a lot of kudos. In this most recent edition of VIPE, we did a story on the Pleasure Ridge Park cheerleading squad. They're awesome. Coach Miranda Jones, she was actually a PRP grad, went on and cheered at U of L, and now she's been back at PRP for like 6, 7, 8 years and has them winning, national titles. So that's definitely a really plus thing because there's so many divisions in cheer, and PRP being considered a large school, quite an accomplishment with them taking home, national titles.
Yeah, that's
so,
anything
cool story.
nationally.
Get a chance to check that out.
Oh, definitely. Again, it's Dave Spelker. He's with VIPE Magazine. You can get him around a lot of mom and pop shops, but big time, Kroger, Dick's Sporting Goods. If your child is, in middle school, in some of the high schools around here, they're right there. They can bring it home. I know there's a big following around the parents. They like to see these stories. It's not just who won this game, who won that game. It's great off-the-field stories. I really do enjoy looking at the VIPE magazine because what we do here, we are very involved with the high school scene, and that's all VIPE magazine is about. So, Dave, we always appreciate you taking a few minutes and having VIPE magazine be a part of us.
Thank you very much. You nailed it. I couldn't have said it better, and if anyone out there has a story they think we'd be interested in, please call us. We're always looking for, new ideas, things, it doesn't have to be a true sport. We're very much into the clubs at the schools, too. I was at Trinity the other day, and I saw where they have a ping pong club now. So
awesome.
That's awesome. I love seeing the schools having clubs and, all kinds of events, things for the kids to do. It's great.
Yeah, it really is. I wish my school had a ping pong club was there because I'm a ping pong fanatic. So, Dave, we appreciate it, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Have a great one, man. Take care.
Thanks. Dave Spelker, VIPE Magazine. Go get you one. It's national. It's not just here locally. Kelly, I like VIPE Magazine.
Dave's a great guest.
Dave's great.
He's very knowledgeable and kind of just goes with the flow, and it's great to see somebody who's that professional covering the high school scene here in the area.
Yeah, he's everywhere. He's St. X grad. His sons went to Trinity. Yeah. Wow.
Whoa. We should have asked him about who's better, Barnhart or Jurek.
We should have, being the local guy. We'll ask him that next week because we're here every week and he's on every week. A couple minutes here before this break. If you want to get in, 384-1450, give us a shout. The Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line. Been a lot of good talk today. Thanks, Farrell. Thanks to Dave. This final segment or so, we will talk some basketball. I want to argue with Kelly a little bit and talk about this Bermuda Triangle. It's about to get kicked off here in less than 3 weeks.
By Bermuda Triangle, you must mean the post presence, the Louisville Cardinals with Shane Bohannon, Gorgie Jang, and Montrezl Harrell.
Yeah.
Is that what you meant?
No, I was actually talking about Nerlens Noel, Kyle Wiltshire, and Willie Cauley-Stein. 7 foot, 6'11",
sure
6'11".
Is an imposing defensive.
I guess 6'11", 6'6", 6'7" is cool. This is the Weekend Sports Buzz. We'll be right back.
We'll be the leaders of a messed up generation. If we don't kid ourselves, will they believe us if we tell them the reasons why? Did we take it too far? Take it too far? Did we chase the rabbit into Wonderland? Lose 100 grand? Will they understand?
It's the Weekend Sports Buzz. Tell us your thoughts on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line at 384-1450.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Got some nice, is that maybe Tetris or something like that, Adam?
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
With the Tetris theme.
Yeah. Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Kelly Patrick, Tyler Bloyd. When you are a fan of the Louisville football program and you're undefeated, you get used to winning. Also, playing fantasy football is all about a winning strategy. For a winning strategy, when you buy or sell a home, allow Jamie Cox of Keller Williams, Louisville East, to put together a winning game plan for you. With interest rates near an all-time low, there's never been a better time to buy or upgrade. For personal attention, effective marketing, and results, contact Jamie Cox at 502-593-5454 or email Jamie directly at jamie@thederbycityrealtor.com. That's JAMEY at thederbycityrealtor.com.
The Dirty City, yeah. Jamie Cox, I see his signs all around town. I really do. Right down by my house, right by my neighborhood. He's everywhere. He is the man, the myth, the Jamie Cox. So get on him. Appreciate him being a part of the KFFSC and 1450 to Sports Buzz. Final segment here, about 10, 15 minutes to go. If you all want to hop in, talk a little basketball, a little football, 384-1450. We are going to talk some basketball to wrap up the show.
Speaking of basketball, not to interrupt you there, but
we're talking basketball.
The red-white scrimmages today, 4 o'clock p.m.
Exactly.
on WHAS 11.
It is. That's what I was going to go to.
Yeah.
How about that?
It's not going to be in high definition, but that's
okay. Of course
okay.
not.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, you'll be able to watch it on TV, even if you can't make it out to the
This is the second red-white of 4?
Second of 3.
The second of 3.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Which is I kind of like it. You get to bring the crowd.
Yeah,
bring the fans.
It's neat. I mean, Louisville is a marketing machine. They make money
for your 8,000 that will show up, if that.
Mm-hmm. They charge $5-10 a pop, so they make a bunch of money. Is my point there, Tyler?
I know. I was just
how much did it cost to go? You try to take a shot. I mean,
just a little shot.
Take a shot against capitalism and making money. That's okay.
Yeah, but that is cool. I like the idea of 3 scrimmages. You get the fans to have a chance to really get a somewhat of a judgment of where we are. This is Louisville's, a lot of experience. You're used to this team. You kind of know where you are already. But with the, from the first red-white, you make, okay, I can kind of see something. You're going to see more. And then that third one, you're almost at the season. You're going to see a lot. Of what Louisville is. And, same with Kentucky. They, the Big Blue, the Big Blue Madness. That's no judgment of anything. They only have the one blue-white. That is Wednesday night. So, if you're a Kentucky fan, you can get out there. That's that. But I like the blue-whites. I like the red-white scrimmage. Are you gonna go today, Kelly?
I'm not going to go. I'm going to watch it on TV. I did get to go to the first scrimmage. What was that, a couple weeks ago?
That was about a week ago.
That was last weekend.
Last Saturday.
Yeah, last Saturday. I made it out for that, and I was very impressed. I think overall there's a few reasons to be concerned, but it's early. They only had about a week of practice.
Your number one preseason. Number 1 preseason, Kelly. You've never heard that.
Number 2, according to a couple.
Number 2, that is correct. Depending on what poll you look at,
Dick
USA
Vitale
Today
had us, yeah. So I mean, the red-white scrimmage is today at 4 p.m. and then there's one next Saturday at 2 p.m. at the Yum Center.
You should get there.
And then we got a few. Yeah, I should. I'll try to make it out there. We got a few other scrimmages. We got Pikeville, Bellarmine, Manhattan, and then we
get
we
the
go
season
to the Battle for Atlantis. So
that is the opening of your season, right? The Battle for Atlantis. When's your first game?
Let's see here. I see the schedule. November 1st at Pikeville.
No, that's a scrimmage.
Bellarmine, Manhattan.
Come on. I can go to Kentucky's right here if you need me to.
I'm looking at the schedule.
Deal.
I don't know which one is the
You
I think Manhattan's the regular one.
It is.
That's the first game of the year. We go against in the Yum
November
Center
11th.
against Stevie Masiello. So it's not that far off. A few weeks till we get into the regular season. The nation overall doesn't really look at college basketball this early, but I know in these parts it's a big deal, and everybody's got to be really
Kentucky
maybe
gets there.
surprised that it's this close up on us to see
Already.
when basketball is
Time
starting.
flies when both your teams go to the Final Four, and especially when one of them wins it. Well, it really does. I feel like it was last week that we were watching Kentucky Louisville in the Final Four. It's that quick. I mean, the football season's rolled by us. We know that. As the Kentucky, they go blue-white game Wednesday, and then their first game of the season will be against the Maryland, the fighting John Renshaws, November 9th, opening up the Barclays Center, the new Brooklyn Nets stadium. I saw it on one of the pre-games. That's awesome.
I watched a boxing match last night.
Awesome.
On Showtime. I watched it. It was at the.
It was there.
It was there.
It's awesome. That game's 8:30, and then like you said, it's not people don't really watch too much, but you're gonna have to. When Louisville's playing in the Atlantis, Kentucky's playing Maryland and Duke to start the season. Duke, November 13th. We are less than 3 weeks away from college basketball, people. I can't wait. I know football season, for Louisville, you got a lot to look forward to. Kentucky, it's out the door. The bowl's out the door now, so we can start to turn the page. I mean, I hate to say it. I do like watching football. I want them to be very successful, but it's basketball season for Kentucky now.
So we got to look forward to that. I mean, we were joking about the Bermuda Triangle, and I was saying it was Montrezl Harrell, Gorgie, and Shane. And you brought back, I guess that's the matchup. The front court. You guys got the height advantage. Maybe we've got the experience and the
experience, no doubt.
Advantage. I was talking to the Dugan Ryan on the phone the other day, and we were talking about basketball season. We started talking about how much starting college basketball experience does the University of Kentucky have. I think Ryan Harrow is probably the only guy who's actually started a game. How many games did he start?
Not many. He started a few last year. I don't know exactly how many, but yeah. Starters, Joyce Mays. Don't forget Joyce Mays.
True.
He started a lot of games in his career. He's got a lot. Yeah, Ryan Harrow, he started the whole season. I think Ryan Harrow is going to be a stud. He's had a whole year under Calipari already. Think about it, Kelly. A whole year under Calipari, that doesn't happen for point guards. It doesn't. They all leave after a year, and then they go to the NBA and be very successful. Well, he's already got a year in college, a year in the ACC, a year under John Calipari and learning everything, fighting up against Marcus Teague every day in practice. Now he's got people to guard him, Archie Goodwin. The kid's going to be very tough. I'm excited for him and the Siva matchup because if you remember, the Big East has now voted. Obviously, they put Louisville as their favor with Syracuse, Notre Dame, Cincinnati, Georgetown rounding up to top 5. And if I'm correct, Kelly, they predicted your Peyton Siva to be the Big East Player of the Year.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Peyton's game not exactly conducive to him getting a bunch of accolades for himself, I don't think. He does a lot of the hustle things.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He gets others involved. But I could see it. I could see him having a breakout, getting a lot of easy layups, getting a lot of steals, assists, maybe leading the Big East in assists. Something like that could lead to him being the Player of the Year. It'll be very interesting to see how that plays out with Peyton in his senior season.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting basketball season for Louisville. I expect them to. I mean, it could be another Kentucky-Louisville Final Four run playing each other. On Kentucky's standpoint, Nerlens Noel officially cleared by the NCAA. He is ready to go. A spokesman let it known late last week. Good news. That would have been a setback without a doubt. Even if he missed half the season, that's a setback.
What do you think the drop-off will be from Anthony Davis to Nerlens Noel?
Offense-wise, a little bit. Defense-wise, not much. And honestly, between us and everybody listening, I think Willie Cauley-Stein could be the better of these two. Maybe not off the bat, but down the road. Cauley-Stein runs the court like a guard. He is fast, he is long, he is athletic, he is strong at his 7 foot. He played football, he was averaging like 3 touchdowns a game. I know he's tall, but he's very fast too. I'm excited for Willie Cauley-Stein. I think Kansas and the Midwest are going to be very, very disappointed when they look back at not recruiting Willie Cauley-Stein. He was a nobody at that time.
He's officially listed as 7 foot, 244 pounds. He's actually, according to the list I'm looking at, the only listed 7-footer on Kentucky's team. So it's a big guy.
He's big. I mean, he was only 7. I mean, 7 foot's huge. We are 6'10", 6'11", that's big, but 7 foot, just the extra height. He's very athletic. He can spring up just like Nerlens Noel. I'm excited for him, so that's big news. And for the Bermuda Triangle, as we did mention, the USA Today poll came out, the first one of the preseason, the coaches poll. Indiana, Louisville, Kentucky, top 3 teams, and then you got your Ohio State, Michigan rounding out your top 5, NC State 6, Kansas 7, Duke 8, Syracuse 9, 24-10. I'm excited about this. And the Vegas came out as well. Indiana, Kentucky, Louisville. So they had Kentucky had favored Louisville to win odds by like 7-6-1. It was all three of those are right there. So this year, Kelly, it's going to be what could be the best ever in the three programs.
Yeah, I think there were some times during I believe it was the late 70s and 80s where this was definitely the center of the basketball universe.
And it's back.
Yeah, so it's kind of coming back, which is great. I think it's and even Ohio State's not that far from us. We're all Midwest. I mean,
Notre Dame.
Yeah, you're right. Notre Dame. So we're definitely we're not where the Tobacco Road is completely as far as
I think we are.
Total modern era championships.
Morehead State, Murray State, Western, all making the tournament almost, and one of them every year.
Davidson, Wake
making
Forest.
a run. I know,
NC State.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, let's just make it to Kentucky and North Carolina. I mean,
State of Kentucky versus North Carolina. I like that. I like that it's competitive. I like that we don't have the professional teams they have. You cannot compete with the Louisville college basketball market. It's simply the best ratings. I mean, that's been you're able to quantify
Kentucky,
things like that.
Louisville and Lexington, the basketball market are outrageous.
Mm-hmm. North Carolina, they got the NASCAR. They got
NASCAR's
Panthers.
number one there.
Yeah, they got the Panthers. They got the
Bobcats.
The Bobcats. I mean,
they've got it all, which is cool. I'm not hating on that. That's more props to you all, but you all suck at those sports anyway, so big deal. I really cannot wait for this to happen. I know Kentucky and Louisville play December 29th at 4:00. But that's down the road. We'll look at that when it gets closer. But you mentioned your Red Whites today. What are you looking forward for today? You saw your first one, Montrezl Harrell's beast.
Yeah, that's what I took away from, and I liked Kevin Ware's athleticism very much. From today, what I would like to see is maybe a little bit more assertive Wayne Blackshear. I'd like to see him look a little bit more comfortable out there on the floor, and to see some of that magic that made him the special player he was in the Chicago high school circuit. I'd like to see Blackshear, maybe not necessarily shoot threes, but maybe some mid-range games, some driving to the basket, and I think we will see that. He still, according to Rick, needs to get into Louisville basketball shape. I'd like to see some progress out of Wayne Blackshear. What else would I like to see? We know what we're going to get with Gorky, I think. He's added some muscle. There will not be a step down from last year. Mm-hmm. I'd like to see, maybe Peyton Siva come out and show us a jump shot.
Yeah, 19% towards the end of the year last year for shooting for Siva was not what he expected, considering he shot the ball pretty well his sophomore year.
Also his freshman year when he came in, he shot well.
I expect him to have a much better offensive year because, if you look back, Kelly, the reason Louisville went as far as they did is because Peyton Siva. He learned how to play his basketball like Peyton Siva knew how to play basketball again, in my opinion. That's what took you all so far.
Yeah, what I like is, Rick Pitino is kind of an NBA guy. Although he doesn't put the players in, Cal does. I'll never debate that. He doesn't. Simply put, he doesn't. But I like how last season he started talking about comparing Peyton Siva to maybe trying to make his game a little bit more like Steve Nash, where instead of driving into the lane and putting up a ill-advised shot, maybe he would drive it and he would dribble it back out a little bit. We saw a little bit of that in our run to the Big East Championship and then the Final Four. So I'd like to see a smart player from Peyton Siva, your senior point guard. I mean, that's what you need out of him. You don't need him to drive in the middle of the lane and do a 360 and throw the ball to the other team.
Now,
you need him to make the good decisions.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see out of Peyton. Mental preparation, mental advancement.
Call me crazy. Kentucky fans might call me crazy. I love my Cats. I think we are, without a doubt, and there's no question about it, top 7, 8 team right now. I necessarily don't think we're the 1, 2, or 3 yet because it's early. It's early. And I know people are like, you're crazy. We're so talented. Yeah, we are so talented. And once that talent molds together, we will be that top 1, 2, 3 team. Yeah. Louisville is ranked better than us. Indiana is ranked better. I think it should be, it should be right. But I think at the end of the season, Kentucky will be as good. It will be better than both the Indiana and Louisville. Talent-wise. The talent
based on what?
Based on Calipari's track record of molding. He is the best coach in the game that can get new players to play together better than anybody else, quicker than anybody else.
Certainly right now you can't put anyone ahead of him in that facet at all.
And
one thing that's maybe a weakness of the Cards is that Peyton Siva, he only shot 24% from the 3-point line last year.
Where's your offense coming from this year?
That's pretty weak. I'm looking, though, at Ryan Harrow. What did he shoot last time he played Division I basketball from the three-point line? He shot 22%.
I don't know if he's a shooter. I don't know that. I'm just going off what Siva did his career early.
Okay.
I like Siva. I think, like I said, he molded into the more of offensive Siva, which drove you all to the Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
I like Siva.
I'm sorry, what was your question?
Where's the offense coming from for your Cardinals this year? I know where it's coming from, Kentucky. They have offensive guys. Where's it coming from Louisville?
Shane, Wayne, Russ. I mean, we've got enough offense. Don't necessarily have
Russ can throw it up. I know that, but
Russ dropped 30 on Kentucky.
That's what I just said. He can throw it up.
He can score.
He can score, but that's not consistent. 30 is not consistent. You know this. That's nowhere. Nobody does that in college.
I'm not saying he will. I mean, Kevin Durant.
Shane is not an offensive threat.
What?
Are
you kidding me?
Let me clarify myself.
Clarify.
To the everyday good basketball program, they are not looking at Shane Behannon as being oh my God, he might put up 30 on us.
Well, they should.
Why?
He's got the post game better than anybody in college basketball.
I put Gorgie's over his. I put Montrezl Harrell's over his.
Okay, well, you're crazy.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I think you're dumb.
Well, you think I'm
I
dumb.
can't wait for this game. I know
Shane has the
over.
offensive skills. He's got the
He
post
can't
game.
even dunk. He misses 4 dunks a game. Good offense.
Okay. So
learn to
Shane
dunk
sucks.
the ball first, then you can say he's good at offense.
Okay.
You have not a true offensive threat, in my honest opinion, besides Russ Smith.
And you just said he wasn't really an offensive threat. So I
just said he can throw it up. He dropped 30 on Kentucky. I like Russ Smith. I like the type of guy that's going to man up and shoot the rock, not scared to miss the ball.
You wearing flip-flops? Because it sounds like your argument's flip-flopping.
Anyways, no, it's not.
Yes, it is. You just said Russ, all he can do is gun, and you can't count on it. And then you said he's our only
not
offensive
consistently
going
to put 30 is what I said.
Score. Shane is a freshman average. Let's see here.
We got to get out here. Show's over. It's been fun.
9.5 points a game.
Go
Shane
Cats.
will bring it. He's got the post game. Shane Behannon, beast mode this year. We'll be back next week for more from the Weekend Sports Buzz.